Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast, and thank you for your support and listening.
Yes, today we're covering the Netflix movie Riverdance, the animated adventure.
Yes, now this movie is based on the original play of the same name, which I've seen, and follows Irish boy Keegan, who learns the importance of Riverdance through a herd of magical Irish elk that Rascal now loves.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and multiple Paws videos.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram under Paws on Netflix.
Yes.
Also, feel free to share our videos. We appreciate your comments as well.
Mm-hmm. So this movie came out about, I think, January. It was one of the new movies of 2022. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those movies that just kind of flew under the radar because Netflix has been beginning to put out a lot of content at one time. They even at one point decided we're going to have movies every week. Mm-hmm. So now it's sort of like Netflix movie overload.
Yes.
So it's kind of no surprise that this kind of flew on the radar even before that event, because there's just so much content out now that unless someone recommends it to you, or Netflix recommends it to you, or you see it online and it sparks your interest, or they suggest it to you, then you're probably not going to know about this film.
Right. But that means more for us to cover.
Yes. So for here, I did not know it was based off a play until Mama told me as we were watching. So they just kind of took that basically and made it animated. And they made it, I guess, a little shorter than the play. I guess so it could fit like a 90-minute runtime. And one thing that really sticks out about it is that it is definitely Irish. It is so Irish that they do every Irish thing in the movie they possibly can in every single second.
It is so Irish that when one of the main characters began speaking, I said, "That's Pierce Brosnan."
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess Pierce Brosnan. I said, if it's not him, then someone's doing a really great impersonation, but I would bet a lot that that's Pierce Brosnan. And it's Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, as one of the elk, which was like really crazy to hear.
I thought you say one of the main elks.
Yes, I guess
M.E.
or the leader. I guess the leader elk. I guess you could say that. And what's funny is that when we looked at the end credits, we really weren't familiar with a lot of the other people in there. Mm-hmm. Either they were just newcomers, or they were really more known in Ireland than in the States, which was totally fine. They weren't trying to market off the star power.
Right.
Pierce Brosnan was the biggest one in there, but they weren't trying to say, hey, he's in it, come watch it. They just let the movie speak for itself. And for the most part, it really just stays a kids movie. They do, unfortunately, put in a bit of tragedy twice in there, and I think it didn't really need that. There were definitely ways they could have had it play a little smoother without having to go through the Disney, Bambi, Lion King route, where they have to have a tragedy of somebody in order to move the plot or have an emotional moment. And I think if they had done a little differently in those two areas, it actually would turn out much different and actually would have been a fun movie from beginning to end.
Right. Now, what I do like is very multi-diverse. The entire cast, the entire movie, there's multi-diversity. So it's an Irish movie, but it's beautiful that they've got everyone in it.
Right, or else Owen Clifford would have been very upset.
Yes. And the animation is beautiful, and it's so colorful, and it's so vibrant, and it really makes watching this movie much more enjoyable. I think if it had been a different type of animation, it wouldn't have had the same effect. I think the animation was really key into the enjoyment of this movie and the story that it's telling.
Right. And for the first 20 or 30 minutes, they focus mostly on Keegan. And Riverdance is the key thing in here.
And every time there's an Irish animated movie or a book, Artemis Fowl, there's a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And there's someone who mans the lighthouse.
Yes. There's
even the Miyazaki movie.
Yes. Every time there's some lighthouse. So for here, that actually plays into the story where they sort of have a mythical being that's the enemy to the Irish elk, or if you want the technical term, the Megloceros giganticus. And he's supposed to be this red huntsman, I guess, is the enemy of the deer, and he wants to take the antlers to get power. And it was like, wait, you had a villain in here? I thought it was all about Riverdance and stuff.
And he couldn't dance, by the way.
No. And he was sort of like, Isaiah actually pointed this out after we reviewed it, that he was just sort of like a round version of Shaw from Open Season. He even kind of sounded like him, which was kind of bizarre. But basically, that was his entire role in the movie, was that, if they didn't have the lighthouse, it always kept him away. And when a character passes, there was no one man in the lighthouse, and he came through the darkness. So he was like an Irish pitch black, only covered in red. But you got the symbolism with him.
Definitely.
And with that, Keegan really doesn't want to learn the Riverdance after a character passes. Won't spoil it for you. And this kind of affects him for a part of the movie. And like I said, everyone and everything can Riverdance. The kids, the adults, the elderly, boys, girls, the fish, the frogs, the deer, everyone and everything can Riverdance all the time. It is just in their blood to do it. And they even practice it every single day.
And some of them can dance on water.
Yeah, I was like, oh, where is this coming from? It's that magical, I guess. So when they get to about the 30 minutes in, that's when they introduce the Irish elk, and they're this literally talking animals, which I kind of thought was hilarious. It gave me barnyard feels. And over here, they explain that they kind of invented Riverdance and passed it on to humans, and humans spread out throughout, so they would keep in memory of the deer. It's like they really went all the way with trying to make some folklore. I'm not sure if it already existed, but they tried to make some believable folklore for a Riverdance and
if you
deer.
know, let us know in the comments.
Yes. And one thing I actually pointed out in something else for this movie was that the design of the deer actually looked really good, but it was a little odd that majority of the movie they were on two legs. It was like Barnyard, and Barnyard had this thing where they looked like they were two-legged people all the time, and then when they get on fours, they look unnatural. And in here, it looked like they worked better being four-legged than two-legged, but they really wanted them upright for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I kind of liked it better when they were on all fours, but hey, that's the design choice. Plus, now, unfortunately, there are people that are saying certain things about the deer and how they're drawn because they got them with the human built on them, so it's like that's a whole nother category now. It's like, why? It's a deer.
It really was enjoyable watching the movie, and also seeing the dance. It was really, really fun. They just said everything and everyone can do it, and that from as you said, 30 minutes in through the end of the movie, that stays a part of the movie. It's not like they have a scene, they dance, and then that's it.
Right.
There's no more Riverdance. And I really when movies do that, it's like, but this is the name of the movie. Why'd you do that?
Well,
but
we
they don't do that here.
Yeah.
Here, from after 30 minutes on, all the way to the end of the movie, Riverdance is here to stay.
Right. And one big reason I have to point out that we watched the movie is that it actually came up suggestive. For a reminder, because it looked like a fun little movie. And it really is a fun little movie. It's not trying to be some big cinematic universe starter or something really, really deep. Well, it's deep if you really love Riverdance and Ireland. It's deep for that. But it's not trying to be something really, really huge or enigmatic or anything. It's just a simple, fun kids movie that could have a sequel with the remaining characters, and love showing off the Riverdance and the Irish pride of it. And it's, like I said, aside from the two tragic parts of that weren't really necessary, they could have reworked that. It would have been probably a perfect kids movie.
Yes.
And
definitely.
we added because it looked fun, and it is fun. And it had been really there all this time. We just didn't watch it for a while because we had so much anime and other things. And then after Isaiah Garza showed me the Megloceros, and I looked it up, I saw more of the artwork and stuff, and I instantly loved the animal. And unfortunately now it's extinct, so it's not a mythical animal, it was a real animal that's no longer around. And seeing this movie actually had them on screen for the first time in an animated movie, I really was excited to see it. It was like perfect timing.
Yes.
Because we've seen movies of prehistoric animals like Ice Age and dinosaur and stuff that have particular era-centric animals, but you really don't see certain ones unless they're doing some sort of docu-series about what it was like when they were around and so forth. So this was really great to see them in animated form for the first time like this. And hopefully they'll do it some more, because we are seeing a few more of these really odd animated animal movies coming on Netflix suddenly, and they're really underrated.
Yes, definitely. And if you want to hear more of her personal opinions and talk on the elk and more, visit her channel on Entertainments, where she does a 10 to 12 minute review on Riverdance herself.
Yes! And be sure to
let us know what your thoughts are. We love to hear them. If you've seen Riverdance, or if you actually have seen the play or any form of the play anywhere around the world, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't, again, it's on Netflix, so you're going to enjoy it. Come back and let us know what you think. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please like and share. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you listening.
Yes, and be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. There it is on future podcasts and Paws videos. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, animated shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Magical Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.